everyone. Welcome to another edition of Salukimania. This will be our last football chat as SIU's football season will be closing on Saturday, but basketball season is in full swing, and the men are playing St. Louis later tonight at 7 o'clock. St. Louis beat Tennessee State in their first game, and SIU lost to Ohio Dominican 64-63. But football is playing at Indiana State. Indiana State is ranked in the coaches poll. They're just on the cusp of the top 25 for the Sports Network fathead.com poll, which this will be the last week I'll have to say that or write that. And they're about Indiana State's pretty good. They're playing for a playoff berth potentially. They're 6-4. They have one of the nation's leading rushers, Shakir Bell. But the thing about them is their turnover margin is only +2, and they've turned it over, or they've given up 21 sacks. They have 21 sacks. They've thrown for 16 touchdowns. They've given up 16 touchdowns. So it's kind of, you don't know if this is going to be different or not.
And it's just hard to say the way the Salukis have been playing, which SIU football team is going to show up. We had a little bit of the Jekyll and Hyde within the game the other day. Of course, I think the wind and the conditions had a lot to do with that. Yeah. But the Saluki defense certainly has to, the people up front have to put on a lot of pressure and, of course, keep Bell contained. It's one of those situations where I don't think you stop and you hope to contain him. And the, really the offense played pretty well the other day when they were going with the wind. Corey Faulkner has improved markedly. It's pretty impressive, actually. He made some great throws the other day. If they can keep that running game going, Hampton was a load the other day. Sharif Harris looked really good off the bench. Mm-hmm. It's just hard to predict how this football team is going to play. There's all the potential in the world. I know it's going to be a tough game, but there's no reason to believe that the Salukis can't fare very well or come away with a victory.
Yeah, they have played their best defense, it seems, against the best teams that run the ball, and their pass defense I think has improved a little bit. They got to the quarterback a little bit, forced some turnovers. And what I took from the game was just they were able to close them out for once. I mean, the momentum was shifting so violently in that game, and suddenly the tide turned in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, when the Salukis had to make plays, they made them. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been their Achilles heel all year long. They always had opportunities to make plays, and a lot of times they had the opportunity and the position to make the play, and they didn't do it. But Saturday they stepped it up, and a couple key turnovers, and then the offense kept the sticks moving all the time too. So.
This team, they have beaten Indiana State 7 or 8 times in a row. I was just looking it up a couple of minutes ago. 4 times 40 or more points, 3 or 4 times 50 or more points. I mean, I know it's a different year, and the Salukis have kind of fallen on hard times the last 2 years, but do you think that will play a factor in Indiana State's heads a little bit?
No, I don't think so. I mean, once, all that emotional crap, once you get that first pop in the face, I mean, the emotional stuff is gone. It's you're there to play football that day, and if it stays in your head longer than that, that's your fault. So I don't see that being a factor.
And they have played okay on the road. They haven't won, I don't think, on the road until beating SEMO, and that's they only won 1 game on the road last year. So this will be kind of a positive step in the right direction if they could pull this one off on Saturday.
And it's they're looking to close the season on a high note, and obviously the only way to do that is win on the road. And they're not a bad football team. The record may not show it, but they're close to being a pretty good football team. Yeah. And if they want to even come close to having people believe that, they've got to win Saturday.
Well, and then the Saluki men's basketball team, disappointing loss, but they're playing St. Louis tonight. It's going to be a tall task. And not just because they're playing a Rick Majerus coach team that has a preseason all-conference guard. They got some big-time size. They're only going to start a guy. They're starting 2 6'5" and a 6'8", but they have 2 6'11s and 2 more 6'8s off the bench. And SIU may have to start Harry Witt. They may have to play Witt a little bit more than they would like to in a perfect situation. So I'm curious to see how they're going to handle that kind of size.
Well, right now, just watching their games Saturday night, the Salukis have to be more concerned about the Salukis, I think, than St. Louis U. They had so many opportunities Saturday night to finish layups, to get rebounds, to just stick the ball back in, and I know there were at least 2, maybe 3 opportunities where they had the shot and at least 2 to 3 follow-up shots and didn't get any of them to fall. They just can't afford to do that against anybody, which was proven Saturday night. The first 2 games, the first 2 exhibition games, I was really kind of impressed with their decision making and their shot selection. All that went out the window Saturday night down the stretch. It was they were throwing up some stuff that just had me scratching my head. Why? That was kind of a throwback to last year. So I think it's got to rein in yourselves, play within your system, and that other stuff is going to take care of yourself until they prove that they can play with better teams. I don't know how much they can actually worry about the other team rather than just say, okay, let's right our ship.
Yeah. It's a little bit about matchups, but I think they're on their own worst enemy right now. At least they were, Saturday. And I give a lot of credit to Ohio Dominican hanging in there and winning the game at the end. You can't let teams at home do that. And I think it'll be interesting to see if they can assert themselves tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that during the game. You just let them hang around, and all of a sudden, the best basketball team in the world can be playing somebody mediocre, and the mediocre guy can hang around for 5 minutes. And give Ohio Dominican their props. They played hard. They did what they had to do to win, and the Salukis let them do it.
Well, tip-off is at 7:05 tonight. Hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you for tuning in.